I woke up one morning craving rich, dense butter bread, similar to bfoster. I went to the nearest store, but I couldn't get some. The ones there was very airy, so I decided to make some at home. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. And to my old golden members, I love you. For my ingredients, I'm going to need margarine, I'm going to need yeast, sugar, salt, nutmeg. I also need some warm water to prove my yeast. The ingredients is in the description. Make sure to check it out, replicate this recipe, and you will love it. For the dry ingredients, I'm going to need flour, or for what I'm going to use for my bread, I'm going to need flour. I also use condensed milk. It was a thought that came behind the scenes, so I decided to incorporate it. I would have loved to use milk, but there was no milk. I added condensed milk to the warm water. I added the yeast and the sugar. I'm going to let it rise before I proceed to work on my ingredients. Whilst the yeast is proving, let's work on our dry ingredients. For the dry ingredients, I'm going to combine my bread flour, nutmeg, and salt, and I'm going to give it a thorough mix. This step is necessary because when you don't mix your ingredients well, the ingredients is just going to stay at one place. So after mixing it very well, I now add my margarine. It is salted margarine, so I made sure the salt I'm using is small. My yeast has proved and I've poured it into my dry ingredients, and I'm basically mixing it up all together to combine. For the flour, I used 1 cup of bread flour and half a cup of cake flour. If you've never tried mixing bread flour and cake flour to make bread, please try it. You would love the texture. So after combining everything, I transfer it to my chopping board because that's going to give me a surface to knead my dough. Since I want it dense and not too airy, I made sure not to make it very soft by adding a lot of water. That is why my dough is very thick. So I decided to knead it gradually before it loosened up. And after it loosened up, kneading was awesome. No matter how kneading is easy to me, depending on the quantity, one day I'll still have to buy a kneading machine because the wrist, we don't want to be messing up with the wrist, but we still love our homemade bread. So we'll take the risk for now. After kneading, it is ready. As you can see, it took a while, about 30 to 40 minutes for it to get to this consistency. And then I proceeded to put it in a bowl which has been greased with oil. I covered it and let it rise. I was impatient, so it was about to double in size, but I decided to proceed to the next phase. So after bringing it, I decided to roll it because I don't want an airy bread, so I didn't want it to rise too much as well. That is why I did what I did. But if you're going for a loose, airy, fluffy bread, allow it to double well in size. So I brought it out and then rolled it with my rolling pin so that I can shape it in a batter bread shape. Ghanaians, we have a way we shape our batter bread, and we have a baking tin for the batter bread. So since I didn't have the baking tin, I just used the sugar bread baking tin, but it came out appetizing as well. So this is how we do it. We press the tip and bind it so that it doesn't open up in the oven. Roll it and get this shape, then we put it in our baking tin. Our baking tin is greased with butter and having a coat of flour. So we put it inside, cover, and let it double in size. In an hour time, my bread was ready. I baked it and it came out perfect. This is how I wanted it, even though I didn't use the batter bread baking tin. The crust of the bread was very soft like cake. The inside was chewy, it was dense, it was rich. You can take this to the next level by adding egg, milk, and a lot of things to increase the flavor. You can probably add vanilla to just make a rich bread. I love this bread. It was very soft, it was very tasty. One thing I like about bread is with minimal ingredients you can get bread, with more ingredients you can get bread. It's so amazing. If you use minimal ingredients, just add up some vegetables whilst you are coming to consume to make it rich. Since I can replicate bfoster, then I'm not buying bfoster again until I'm giving it to somebody as a gift. This was tasty. I loved it. If you don't know how to bake bread, what are you waiting for? Hop onto YouTube, learn how to make bread, and enjoy with your family. Thank you so much for watching up to this point of the video. Don't forget to subscribe, share to friends and family, and until next time, stay blessed.